To start, we would like you to think of a time in your life when you had a hard time seeing, whether it was because you were in the dark, you were far away from something, or your eyesight was blurry. Do you think you would have been able to learn properly while seeing like that? As you think about your answer, we would like to make everyone aware of our important topic, how vision affects learning and development in early childhood.
Here are some statistics about vision screenings in children. One of the most important facts out of all of them is that up to 75% of school vision screenings miss vision problems.
This chart shows some of the most common vision impairments in the world. The top three include cataracts at 39%, uncorrected refractive errors at 18%, and glaucoma at 10%.
Some signs to go see an optometrist include headaches, seeing blurry or multiple objects, excessive tearing, and dizziness. Some vision disorders include nearsighted and farsighted, amblyopia, pediatric glaucoma, and strabismus. Nearsighted is when a person can see close up but blurry far away, and farsighted is when a person can see far away but blurry up close. Amblyopia is when the brain fails to work with the eyes and is also known as lazy eye. Glaucoma involves high pressure in the eyes, and strabismus is when the eyes go cross-eyed because of poor muscle control.
So this is the overall question of the presentation, how vision impacts learning and development. We studied 4 different topics. The first one is motor skill development. All of the bullet points below are vision-related motor skill functions. So if your child had a vision impairment, they might not be able to do some of these things. Some of them include imitating others' movements, seeing dangerous situations, and correcting movement errors. For reading development, if a child had a vision impairment, words or letters may be processed backwards. They may be unable to visualize what is happening in the book. They may be unable to recognize a word or unable to remember the sequence of letters, words, or a story. And a lot of these are actually mistaken for dyslexia because they are similar symptoms. The next topic is behavioral issues. If a child has vision impairment, they may not be able to pay attention, or they may have a short attention span. They may not be able to sit still. They may get angered or frustrated easily, and they may have a lack of motivation. With attentional processes, visually impaired children with attentional issues have also been linked to possibly having cognitive impairments. Developmental setbacks occur at the same time as behavioral independence and the ability to control attention. And visually impaired children experiencing adult-directed events rely on auditory channels, which can result in problems with attention. And a lot of these are mistaken for ADHD because, again, they have similar symptoms.
This picture is an infant vision stimulator cord from the organization Infancy, which shows an infant's sight from newborn to 12 months at a distance of 24 inches. As you can see, an infant starts with a blurry image and images of minimum color and progresses as they get older. Infancy. Eye-hand coordination begins to develop as the infant starts tracking moving objects with his or her eyes and reaching for them. Infants' gross motor skills develop as they learn to support their bodies, crawl, stand with help, and eventually walk. Without vision, infants take longer to hit these milestones because they lack the visual perceptual motor variables.
Vision with early childhood. At 3 to 4 years old, children start to be able to tell the difference between colors. 4 to 5 years old, children's eye muscles have progressed enough in order to move their eyes to read. By about kindergarten, children can focus their eyes on one object close-up, but directions are still needed by an adult when involving visual perception.
Here are some terms that we use in the infancy and early childhood slides.
This is a clip from the San Diego Living News channel, which discusses the importance of eye exams and the different ways children with vision impairments see.
As kids head back to school, they need their backpacks, school supplies, and of course, cool new lunch boxes. But something you may not have put on your list, an eye exam. Dr. Carl Hillier from Alvarado Hospital here to tell us why a vision test is so important. Good to have you here today.
Good morning. It's nice to be here.
I know that when I was, I think it was 7th grade or so, I started getting these headaches. I was sitting sort of in the back, and I thought maybe there was something wrong with my ability to learn, and it turned out it was a vision problem.
That's a common occurrence, and a lot of children, they can't articulate the visual issues that they have because they don't know what it looks like to other people. So that's a common issue.
And you're saying that 20/20 vision with kids is simply not enough.
That's right. There's a myth in our culture that pervades our culture, and that is that 20/20 is perfect vision. But what we know today is that the visual skills necessary for learning go far beyond the ability to see 20/20. This is because 80% of what we learn in school is visual. And if there's a visual issue with tracking or binocularity or visual perception or visual thinking or visual imagery, these issues could be far more devastating than being able to see clearly in the distance.
Well, let's talk about some of the signs. I mean, your kids may come home and not have the best grades. You know, we can't excuse that for everything, but what are some of the signs that maybe your child's vision is really, you know, not where it should be?
Well, it's typical of a child who is smart in everything but school. So they have issues with being able to they take too long to do their homework, for example, or they have poor reading comprehension. When they're reading, they skip lines and reread lines, and they don't have, therefore, a continuity of what's in the text. Short attention span sometimes can be misunderstood as ADHD, when in fact it could be a visual issue with the inability to converge the eyes and focus the eyes, and therefore the child no longer wants to sustain that activity, and they'll look out the window or they'll talk to their neighbor. They're trying to get information. They're trying to be socially competent in school. And so since they can't connect visually, their behavior will be perceived to be a lack of inattention or lack of attention.
Well, and this is such a common problem, you're saying. And so you brought some pretty cool tests for us today to practice. I am going to hold this up and tell me what this is right here.
Well, that's just a sentence. It's a little fairy tale kind of sentence. And if you read that, this is what most of us see. A nice organized row of words that enable the child to track and read what's there.
Okay, now this might be what you see if the vision is not where it should be.
That's right. This is when a child is trying to read, and if you were trying to read this at home, it'd be quite difficult. And as a matter of fact, a listener listening to you try to read this might come to the conclusion that you have dyslexia, maybe you don't have enough experience with reading, things like that, when it could in fact be a visual tracking or a binocular problem.
Okay, right here with this paper.
So we both have a connection to this topic, so we wanted to share our stories with vision. For me, I did not go to an actual eye doctor until 3rd grade at 9 years old, and they found out that I had the basic eye problem of a refractive error. I received distance glasses, and I've had to have the prescription for them strengthened ever since.
My story is a little bit more unique. I did not go to an eye doctor until I was 6, and by that time I was blind in one eye. If I was taken to an eye doctor earlier, which my parents just didn't know was important, the doctor would have found out that I had pediatric open-angle glaucoma, and I would not be blind in my right eye today. This quote is from the American Optometric Association, and it is saying that infants should get their first eye exam between 6 and 12 months to ensure proper vision development.
So the importance of early childhood vision exams. Healthy eyes and good vision play a critical role in how infants and children learn. Eye exams can detect eye and vision problems in infants that may cause developmental delays. In the worst cases, infants can have more significant undiagnosed eye issues that can lead to permanent blindness. How eye exams can help prevent blindness. With vision screenings at school or a pediatrician may help to realize the child has a vision problem, but cannot identify what the problem or disease might be. So eye exams from an optometrist are important to get in order to have the proper materials used to determine the problem or disease. Once this is determined, proper treatment can be provided early in order to prevent the eye problem from getting worse. Overall, we just wanted to make people aware that eye exams can improve a child's quality of life. We found that as we were researching, there was nearly no information about vision impairments of all ages and the importance of eye exams early on. Therefore, we would like you to take what you have learned today and spread the word.
These are our references.